Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know. Spending time all alone, sending my songs through the phone, dreaming of a better home, while focused on trying to hone this craft, witchcraft. I hope the Bluez let this last.
The great sounds of Wata Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Prestige, with my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City made EZ Bluez is in the building after a 2-week hiatus. We got a great person right now who's a part of a program. He's the father, businessman, educator, musician, former record label owner, and now a magazine company owner.
I'm not gonna say I'm an owner of everything.
Owner. And that's why we have the interview. We can get into it. Great questions. But GEO is blessed and he is on our show. Thank you for being a part of the program, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's a blessing. It's a huge blessing, man.
Oh, definitely. It's great to see your face. Great to see that you're doing good right now, man. And just let's start with this first question, man. If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would be the opposite?
If I weren't doing what I'm doing, what would be the opposite?
Yeah.
As in, what would I be doing?
Yeah, what would be the plan B?
There honestly never really was a plan B. That, if I had a plan B, I wouldn't be, too focused on plan A. I'd be worried about the sliding backwards. So it's always been, plan A, and the plan was always to stick with plan A and never divert from that at all.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
This is where I have to say, this is apparently, ladies and gentlemen that are listening at home, just pull over the car and sit down with the pen and the piece of paper for the entire thing, because right there, that was the best knowledge from jump. There was no plan B, and I push hard enough to make sure plan A happens.
Right.
Not happened, happens. So he's continuously pushing, he's continuously evolving. And that right there, let's note one on how to do this, how to get behind the brand, is to continue to push. Okay.
Well, speaking of the brand, let's talk about GEO. Ace, what made this journey start? What made you want to go into a career in music, man? So,
I mean, the journey has been going on for a while for me. It was always just, a passion that I had. My family's musical. My dad was into playing guitars, and obviously, my mom was like, she wasn't a big musical as far as being involved with instruments and stuff like that. But you might hear different people say every Sunday morning when you're growing up, there's a certain amount of music that's a big vibe in the house. So right. I mean, we had the big gigantic Zenith, record player that was like a record player and TV in one, and it used to be whether it's Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind and Fire, Gladys Knight, that stuff was. That stuff was always going on cleaning up the house on Sunday, or whether it was Saturday night, and family, actually came through. When family was able to actually come through,
yes,
and you would just be able to leave your door open and people just walk in the house. That was where all the music came from. I just was exposed to so many different things. My brother played guitar, and it just kind of just went into me. I went from listening, being that guy just soaking up everything, or that kid soaking up everything, to dancing, to teaching dance classes, to actually writing and getting involved with a lot of people who are on the DJ level, you know what I mean? And it kind of just went from there.
That's amazing, man. So music has always been in the family.
It's always been there, I don't remember a time that it wasn't there, you know what I mean?
Now, tell me about your first rap record, because I know you were in a group called Northern League. Now, please tell me about that whole story.
So my first rap record was actually a song called Get That Dough, and it had nothing to do with Northern League at all. It was a song that, when I first made my connects with Manhattan Studios in New York. Shout out to them. they had called me and they were like, you know, they wanted to put together some hip hop stuff. They wanted to do this. They actually pulled me in as a manager. They wanted me to manage talent. And I happened to be in the studio one day and we were just talking, laughing, vibing, whatever. They put on this beat and they were like, yo, you used to do the flow stuff, right? Yeah, why don't you try flowing? So I actually recorded this song called Get That Dough, and this is in New York. We came back to New Haven and we laughed about it, listened to it in the car. I was like, yo, this is all right. This is kind of So, you know, fast forward, my producer up there in the city, FS, he hits me up. He's like, yo, I played this song for a couple people and they actually like it. A few people were confused because they were like, yo, this guy sounds like Jay-Z. And I'm like, well, that's a great compliment. I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know, so it kind of went from there. They were like, you know, I think instead of having you manage the group, maybe we should kind of put you with the group and it go from there.
Right.
And I said, let's give it a shot. You know what I mean? So, you know, Northern League became Keith and myself, obviously with me spearheading a lot of stuff and doing a lot of writing. And it was kind of a perfect match because Keith can come in and kind of do his little sprinkle, and then I could handle the main body of the song, the hook portion of it, you know, the structure of it, the engineering and recording of it. And then when it got down to the wire, the business of Northern League, you know, I was able to handle that from having the management background. So, you know, that's where all that came.
And your management background, man, is just amazing. And that's one thing I got to give it to you, Ace, man. You know how to pick them. You definitely know how to pick them when it comes to artists. I mean, you definitely have that ear. And I don't know if that ear started at a very young age when you were listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire at your house, but something about you that just picks quality in the artists that you have in your ensemble. Let's say, for example, matter of fact, I'm going to put the big one up in there right now. I'm going to say Manny James. Just first witnessing him and just seeing his growth and just seeing him go. And pretty much, I hate to say it. Matter of fact, I love to say this. He, in my opinion, is like a little bit of your double in a way when you look at things, because I think he's pretty much going into a similar path as you know, because he's already established that he can do everything musically.
Right.
But he is trying to get his own, you know, plethora of artists and trying to go his own route and teach people what he knew from you and from plenty other influential people as well too.
Yeah, and Manny's, you know, when we're rocking, when we're operating, we always look at Manny was always the flagship. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Manny is the flagship. I can't say was. Manny is the flagship. He's like, if you want an ultimate center, you know, in the championship game, you want a Manny James. I mean, incredible talent, incredible energy. Just I can sit in a room with Manny, and the perfect match for us is he can just do gibberish harmonies, and then later I'm writing to those harmonies, and then he's got something on top of that, and then I got something on top of that. So it was like a perfect 1-2 punch for Manny and I to start working together.
Right.
And you know, from his first project to the second project, where that growth has been incredible, and I love to see that. You know, we still have different projects we're working on now. So I mean, it's a never-ending story for us.
And I can't wait to see how much that story will continue, man, because it definitely has longevity to it. And you say gibberish harmonies. So I can't even imagine what it's like being in the studio with you guys. It's probably a lot of non-verbal communication when you tell me about that great chemistry you two have.
It is, even whether it's in the studio or whether it's just, you know, me walking around the yard and him being on the road just driving, you know, on the way to a show, and he'll hit me up with his phone, dictaphone. He'll be like, da, 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 you know, and he's like, I need to this, or I need some words to this, or vice versa. Him some gibberish, and all of a sudden he's got the words, and then we, you know, skyrocket from there. But it's always an interesting, fun, great process to work and write with Manny. So one of my favorite people to write with, actually.
That's awesome.
You know,
I bet you have that same chemistry with Vega as well too.
Vega's my brother, man. So that's a whole like Vega and I used to fight over GI Joe dolls. You know what I mean? So I've known this ever. So there's times where they all look at me like big bro. So I push all of them, and I do it because I know that they're all so good at what they do. You know what I mean? Like Vega with that voice and with his actual pen, I mean, he's really, really sharp with it. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Manny, the voice, the actual pen, really, really sharp with it. So yeah, when we're working, it's like Vega easily could have been the second member of Northern League. It could have been me as opposed to, Keith and I. I mean, Vega's incredible. He was just here last week, and we laid down some new stuff so that we're working on. So I mean,
yes,
yeah.
And it's funny how you tell me about the GI Joe story, because I think back when Easy and I interviewed him a couple years ago at Ugly, he was telling me
same story,
about, like the old battles and everything like you guys in high school with, just like going together and just vibing, and it was just like really great to hear those stories between you two. So it's great that you have a friend to last that long. One, he gets to know you, and two, it's pretty much a great sign that God just put you two together, because
I mean, and that's pretty much the way everyone that I've worked with has been like family. It's more like family as opposed to being like, this is business, this is what we got to do. You're the boss, and I'm the work. It hasn't been like that. It's been a mutual respect, and just me watching them grow, me pushing them on all levels to grow. And yeah, I mean, Vega used to get mad at me because I used to be able to leave high school early to go teach music classes at the middle school. So why can't I?
What?
I mean,
what?
So I mean,
you were a high school student teaching middle school students about music.
Yeah, I used to.
I never heard. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Go to the middle school, teach them about music, teach them about dance. I mean, that was my whole thing. So and who FS, who's the producer of all the Northern League records, Patriarch, he was the DJ. He was the DJ coming with me, or I'm going with him to these after school programs and doing stuff like that. So we've all been together for a very, very long time. So we all know each other. So when we interact, you can tell it's family. It's not just business. It's family.
Oh my gosh, you've been giving back ever since you can remember.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
wow.
Definitely giving back in communities.
It's really, really interesting. And I really hope that everyone is paying as much attention as they should, because what everything that you're saying is very similar to Bruce Lee's style of Jeet Kune Do. You spend a little time mastering each and every single facet, and now that has made you a complete artist. Where you're not just a hip hop artist. You started out, dealing with dance and going through DJs, and you learned the different processes. You learned what it was like to be in the management aspect of it. Because look, it's plain and simple. For a long time, and I come from an older school aspect because I'm a little older than people are. A lot of people started chasing that, MTV Cribs type of house, and I'm gonna put down a record, and then I'm gonna be a millionaire. And it was everyone gets lost in really that record deal is just the beginning. That's when all the hard work actually starts. You don't make it when you get signed. You have to make it because you're signed, because it's just a big credit card loan. And you've managed to do this in keeping your integrity and maintaining and giving back to the people that are coming up with you. And it's because of these incredible bonds. And that's a testament of the type of human being you are. For those who don't know about the music industry, Hunter S. Thompson said, the music industry is full of liars, pimps, lawyers, and cheaters. And there's a downside to it too, So the fact that you can be a man of integrity while diving into, a business that kind of like, if we're being honest, assassinated Sam Cooke for trying to establish rights and ownership for his people of their material.
Very true.
You're able to maintain being a good human being through that. Let's really dive into that, how were you able to keep your essence while getting into this dirty, filthy business?
You know what? I just think that's coming up. I just think that's just how you're raised, how I'm raised. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one of five. You know what I'm saying? I have two brothers, two sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched my dad get up every single day, regardless of whether he was sick, hurt, whatever, and go to work. My mom doing the same thing. My brothers and sisters doing the same thing. So it was like that work ethic was just built into me. I'm seeing that, you know. I'm a strong believer that, you know, the man in a situation is the foundation, and the woman or the mother fills that man up. So let's call the man the glass.
Okay.
The woman becomes the water and fills that man up and gives that man life and makes that man whole. You know what I'm saying? And then the children are just they're feeding off of the woman and man. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that watching them, you know, mirroring them, seeing their interactions with one another, seeing them raise my brothers and sisters because they're all older than me, you know, I think that all was instilled in me, and I don't know anything else but work. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many times where I try to stop. The only time I actually stop is when I get sick and have to stop. And even then, I'm still taking a phone call, you know, or I'm still talking to somebody. So I think that my drive is definitely built into me from my family, you know, and having the strength of all them and the respect of all them and the push from all them. Yeah, that's just it.
So you even don't know what it's like to be comfortable.
I do know what it's like to be comfortable, but I also like to constantly be working. Like I can have, you know, resting watching TV and ideas. I'm sleeping. You know, whatever, playing in the yard, I got ideas. You know, so it's I do a good balance. I get a good balance of both. You know, so
He's comfortable but not complacent.
yeah. Good way. That's a great way.
No problem. It's good. It's gonna be on the 365-day easy saying calendars that we're gonna release from behind the brand. You can follow that on
That's
on
awesome.
Prestige's Facebook page. He's gonna put all the work. I'm just the face of the operation. It'll be fun.
I heard that.
The operation is behind the brand on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Prestige, myself, and my partner in crime, EZ Bluez, is in the building. Got a great friend of mine, Ace GEO. Thank God I said his name right because I was about to slip.
Good friend of mine. I forgot his name.
It's okay. We were just chalking up to your Cricket Wireless phone tapping in and out.
I already know.
What did he say? Don't worry about it. Okay.
We talked about it in this broadcast, just people who are just tuning into the program, about just the business aspect of this, just staying into it. Do you feel a lot of musicians now look at it as a hobby instead of a career? Do you feel a lot of musicians, independent musicians mostly, lose that drive and get caught up with more than attention than more of just making their journey, longevity to their journey?
Yeah, I think that's the world right now. Everyone's attention span has gone. We're in this microwavable generation where everything is out. You know what I mean? Their attention span is, you know, I grew up on albums. You know, we used to do projects. Nowadays, what needs to happen is you need to just put single after single after single after single. So it could be almost, I think a lot of these guys, the newer guys, whether they're independent or actual sign artists, I think a lot of them are in it for a hobby. They're in it just to be the hot thing of the month or and they don't necessarily know, you know, they don't necessarily know what they're dealing with or going through. They don't understand the business. They just know the music. So that's where a lot of people, you hear them here one day and gone the next day. They don't have that staying power anymore. You know what I mean? So people aren't making songs to have like lengthy careers anymore. They're just making songs to be that thing of the moment.
I have to double down on that. To be honest, you have so many people, and you're seeing it with all these different trends that pop up in music. You know, all of a sudden, everyone wants to sound like the next, you know, this person or the next that person or anything like that. That I don't think there's a lot of real identity artists out there anymore. Those that are willing to be that different sound. And that's really the difference between, you know, those one hit, you know, or I'll call them weekend warriors, and, you know, career musicians, you know. So, and it's difficult because if you have an original sound, it's going to be harder to break in. And I can use the thing, if YouTube was around in the 90s, more people would know about and care about Mother Love Bone than Nirvana. But because it wasn't, and the lead singer of Mother Love Bone passed away before everything popped in Seattle, more people knew about Nirvana, even though Mother Love Bone was the better artist and actually one of the founding artists of that type of sound, you know. So, yeah.
And one thing we can definitely learn from you, Ace, is promotion. You definitely know what to do when it's promotion for your artist, because it shows through your marketing and your networking through movies and through TV shows and through other different companies, just to have at least a little bit of your music on there, and just to understand and teach, you know, the artists that you work with about royalties and just promoting stuff like that. And it's crazy because I remember when you promoted just one song, that expanded into multiple platforms. And I think that's very lost, I believe.
Right. I mean, you got to look at it like this.
Mm-hmm.
There's other different ways. This is the music business, okay?
Right.
There's so many other different ways to generate income and to be involved with the music business, other than just doing the releasing and the promoting and all that different, those different things. For me, for us, it was always, what's going to happen to this song after we record it and after we put it out? Is there a plan for it, or is it just going to be something that we're just going to sprinkle out there and then walk away from? So when you look at situations like Netflix or Hulu, Netflix in 2020, I believe, spent upwards of $17 billion on content alone. So for me, for a guy like me, I'm looking at that going, okay, if they're spending $17 billion on content, there's a little bit of money there for their music budget. It's a little bit. How do we tap into that? You know, and that's always been a thing. How do we tap into this other thing that's going to carry this one song that took us an hour to create? How do we carry that and throw it like a precision dart to land that mark that hits that one song that could have lasted for 2 weeks here? How do we make that one song last for 5 years, for 10 years, for as long as whatever show lasts for?
Right.
You know, so, and that's been a plan, a program that myself, FS, Ming, you know, these are guys that are behind the scenes that I've worked with, Abel, that have helped me kind of put together this program. What are we making these songs for? Are we making these songs just to play around in the street for the hood or whatever? Or are we making them for a bigger cause? And that's always been the thing. I want to make a single quality type song for a bigger cause. And I think we really hit the mark. A lot of the things that we created in 2006, we're still getting compensated for in 2020. So, you know, that's helped us. It's allowed me to kind of transition through the times.
Now, for everyone at home, they have their pen and their piece of paper out. Where's the seminar, and how can we get into the seminar on how to make this work?
You know, the first thing I would tell people to do, you would be surprised how many people don't know what a BMI or an ASCAP actually does. You know, I've gone to, anytime I meet an artist, I always ask them, how serious are you about this? And if you are, how long you've been doing it? And great, if you've been doing it for a couple of years, who's your writer affiliate? Are you in BMI, ASCAP, CSAT? And they go, I don't know any of that.
Right.
I've gone to BMI introductory classes, and the amount of people from New York that don't understand what BMI actually does or ASCAP does, it's mind blowing. It's a condition to be involved with me that I take my artists or set up times for them to go to BMI, to sit there, learn what the introductory class is all about. And then once they have that understanding, then branch on and give them whatever information they need after that, just so they know. So when they're not around me, they still know how to take care of business. I think artists nowadays are, again, going back to what you asked earlier, I think we're too up in, I got to promote this on social media. I got to do this. We forget about the actual business of the game. We forget about the actual music of it. And that's why we become microwavable. It's you know what I mean? So we're in this, obviously, because we love the game. We love the music. Right. We're about it, but we're also in it to build a career or to make money or to feed our families and so on and so forth. So, people signing 360 deals and getting screwed over or all that different stuff. It wouldn't happen if there was a little bit more, understanding, education behind the actual music. So I would love to do a seminar. There's so many different things that I've learned over the years that I would love to be able to give to, different people.
It's crazy that you say this. I remember, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, myself and Easy Bluez went to a musical seminar. It was in Pennsylvania. It was a Millennial Music Conference. Am I right?
It was the Millennium Music Conference.
Yeah.
It was an incredible experience. Which part are we talking about? Are we talking about the courses or are we talking about the really interesting?
We're talking about the courses. The courses are the very important part. And it's crazy how he says microwavable, because I'm not a musician and it was just me and 3 other people in that course. Everybody else in that seminar, that crowded seminar, just wanted to be seen. But I actually, wanted to learn, me being like a little nerdy. I just want to be in that little course, have a little notepad and stuff, just seeing how stuff works. My former boss, Joe, used to tell me about sampling and how a lot of people are trying to rob you just off a good 10 seconds. 10 seconds, they want to rob you, just everything. And it's your boss talking, it's coming one ear out the other. But when you go into a room and you see a whole bunch of dudes looking like they're from the mafia, but they're lawyers, musical lawyers actually telling you this stuff. And it just blows your mind. It's crazy because as soon as I was done with that seminar, I text Joe and I was like, yo, it's real. Like, yo.
It sets the tone for one of the reasons why people always gravitate towards our camp, and me personally, is because there's no red tape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone can call me up and say, yes, I can sign off on the song. I can clear it because I wrote it. You know what I mean? And the producer that created it is working with me. I'm right here. He's right here next to me. So there's no problem with that.
It's mind-boggling. And I think I was looking at the tickets for the seminar. It was like $400 a person, $500 a person. Some packages, Ace, included at least $700 plus for a little pamphlet you could get just to get all this free information you and countless others are learning from their community. They're going to someone else and paying at least over $1,000 for 3 days, 1 weekend just to learn.
And I'll be honest,
crazy.
There are a lot of those seminars that are great. There are a lot of them that are kind of scammy that you go there and people are skeptics. So you know what? It's like politics nowadays. You don't know what to believe. You don't know who. So it's easy for some guy to just say, I've placed 1,000 songs or I've placed 400 songs in this TV show, and you don't even know who this guy is or where he's come from. You know what I mean? He goes and does a seminar and he's taking $100 a ticket or whatever, and then he disappears. Right. You don't know told you the truth or not. You know what I mean? I'm one of those guys. What's your name? I want to find out what your legal name is, and then I want to go check those shows and make sure that there's a credit there. With me, credit. Like I want to know that your name is actually on that show and I can find it. You know what I mean? Like when someone watches Stomp the Yard, they can wait to the end credits roll and find my.
Right.
I mean, there's a difference there. So again, it goes back to, I think we need to take more time and stop necessarily worrying about, being seen, and we need to worry about lasting and the longevity and being heard. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's actually a huge thing. And again, I 100% agree. Two counterpoints on what Prestige was saying. One, how much did we pay for that? Nothing. All right. That's first and foremost. It's like there's a whole bunch of people, and I'm like, I just rolled in with like 8 people deep with an acoustic guitar, and I was like, they're all with me. This guy brings my strings.
He gave me the easy pass. Let's just put it that way.
This guy holds my strings. This guy is this. This guy's he just walks around and takes notes as I go about things. And the other pushback is, it is a matter of a whole bunch of people that were there to be seen, and there was also a lot of different seminars going on at a point in time. So like Prestige and I would break up. I would like, what are you going to attack? I know what I'm going to attack. And then I get easily distracted because I will start really getting into what one of the panelists is saying. Right. And then I find that panelist afterwards and I stalk them until the restraining order comes. And, because I want every single ounce of information. Like I'm now that new little puppy behind you. Like, okay, yeah, but what about this? And then okay, I have to go get lunch. I was like, that's fine. I was hungry anyway. Let's go get some lunch. Let's go knock this out. Let's figure it out. Because unlike everybody else, and this is something that I totally, your entire story is this line. There's a whole bunch of people who love to eat, but not a lot of people who love to hunt. Right. And they want that quick flash in a pan type of thing. And it is that microwave, that song that used to, a 5-minute song used to be on the radio. And now it's compressed down to a 15-second Twitch clip or a 15-second, whatever, the TikTok clip, that now you see reels on Instagram and all these different kind of things. Now, not knocking that money, because you're making your money, but you're just making this amount of your money instead of looking at that long-term aspect.
Exactly. It's always, for me at least, and for Manny and for Vega and Raps and everybody else, it's always been about the big picture. I've beat that into these guys, and into their, always about the big picture. How can we be the most impactful, period? How can we get to the point where people are still calling you years down the line and saying, hey, guess what? I just happened to be watching, I don't know, CBS and your song came on commercial. Cool. You know what I mean? That's what it should be about. I should be able to tell my children, and then my children should be able to tell their children that, hey, you know what? Granddad or whoever was on this show, and go back and be able to actually, at that point, whatever it is, Blu-ray, DVD, whatever the case, go back, plug it in, and they actually have it and can see it and hear it. You know what I mean? So it's always been that plan, going way back to in reference to our original conversation, plan A, always. Right. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. It happens.
It happens. Technology.
Someone just doesn't understand.
Yeah, no, trust me, I get that all the time as well.
Yeah. So, you were saying with the plan A.
Yep. It's always been about plan A, like knowing what you want to do and then sticking to that. I think that's one of the things that's separate us from everyone else. There wasn't really a backup plan. Like Manny was always like, Manny needed to go out. He needed to perform. He needed to learn the business. He went out and did all those things. It wasn't like, I'm going to take 2 months off, or I'm going to take, a year off, or give up and go back to, doing whatever, flipping burgers. I don't, not to knock flipping burgers, but you know what I mean. It was always Manny. Manny is one person who always wanted to do just one thing. I want to be heard. I want to be heard on a bigger level. I want to perform. I want people to feel me perform. And for North League and for we same exact way, so.
And you can tell with Manny's content too. I mean, to this day, I mean, I hear Dear America and it sends a shiver up my spine, and you can feel the pain, and you hear this heartfelt conversation. And it's so incredible. And, so it's just, it's great when you're doing it for the feeling, when you're doing it for that pure love. I tell people all the time, just keep going and doing it. The money will come.
Yeah.
The money will come. Just stay in the fight. Just stay in the fight. The money will come.
There's many different ways, different sources of revenue that are out there. You just have to engage. You have to get into the actual system and know how to work the system and not be afraid to put yourself out there. For me and for licensing, the single licensing side, I may take 100 swings at the ball, to hit 10. But at least I hit 10. You know what I mean? So get discouraged if they don't hit the first one, and then they just go away. And that's never been our plan. That's never been my plan at all. So
it's so interesting.
He is
so interesting.
He's very interesting on WNHH 103.5 FM New Haven, behind the brand, with myself, Prestige, and Easy Bluez. GEO is in the building, and I'm gonna read all of his hits. He told me about the swings. I'm gonna read about the hits that he's done with television. We're talking about ESPN, Showtime, Netflix, as we mentioned before, HBO, Entourage. He was on Showtime, NBC, Friday Night Lights. Remember that show, Easy?
Oh yeah. I remember the movie. I remember the high school it was based off of, sir.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
America's Next Top Model, Beavis and Butthead, which I'm just finding out about right now. I didn't know his music was on Beavis and Butthead back in the day. And a plethora of others, and also one of my favorite shows, House of Lies. So that resume is definitely beyond impressive, and I know that resume is going to continue growing.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm working on a mini documentary. There's gonna be, over the next probably few months, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that comes up about Muhammad Ali. I'm working on a documentary right now called The Greatest, where we actually have a song titled The Greatest that's going to be involved with that documentary. So
you want to know something? I love that you just mentioned that, because we actually have some material to play from you. And I was trying to figure out a good way to be. I'm like, some people would say you're great, but would you say you're the greatest? Speaking of, I'd like to throw to this song right now, The Greatest, but you were able to transition that to me so much better. I didn't have to be cheesy. Thanks.
That's so funny. So yeah, man, it's there's a lot more things that are going on that we're putting together, sample packs, stuff that we were talking about, Press, before people, soulful samples and things like that.
Right.
Always transitioning, always moving, never staying still in this business, because why bother? If we're not doing it, if we're not doing it for, why bother?
Right.
So
Seriously.
Well, why don't we throw to the greatness right now?
He's yelling behind us. Come here. I'm the greatest thing that ever lived. I don't have a mark on my face. I must be the greatest. I told the world. All right, tell us this. All right.
Look, for perfection, please be my reflection. Color me a king, built by my complexion. Obsessed on every lesson, there'll be no corrections. Pure progression, pushing every limit of my raw aggression. Back again. against the ropes, but we never stressing. Inspired by the greats during every session. Big Daddy Kane ain't no half-stepping. Elevator class to new heights, that's our only weapon. 12 shots, 12 rounds, feel threatened. Good condition is exhibition, no sweating. Undefeated, underdog, who's betting? 3 times, dope boy, panic spreading. Untouchable, out of reach, no comprehension. Act Nicholas, EST with good extension. Shock the world in real time's my intention.
I must be the greatest. I must be the greatest.
With an alligator, out of tussle with a whale, out of handcuff lightning, no underneath.
I must be the greatest.
Catastrophic cataclysm, we break the system. I speak for those overwhelmed without a pot to piss in. I speak for those unbelievers who need to stop and listen. Dominating the sex like Ali would listen. About to shock the world, better pay attention. 70-30 split, let's talk about the tension. That's a culture reference if I didn't mention. Too many with the answers to the wrong. This is it, y'all. Little genie falling from the sky. Let's get rich, let's get rich, let's get rich or die trying. Undefeated, underdog, who's betting? 3 times, dope boy, panic spreading. Untouchable, out of reach, no comprehension. Act Nicholas, EST with good extension. Shock the world in real time's my intention.
I must be the greatest. I must be the greatest.
With an alligator, out of tussle with a whale, out of handcuff lightning, no underneath.
I must be the greatest. I must be the greatest.
With an alligator, out of tussle with a whale, out of handcuff lightning, no underneath.
I must be the greatest. Hold it. He's yelling behind us. Patterson's like, "Wait, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I'm the greatest thing that ever lived. I don't have a mark on my face. And I upset son in this one. And I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. I told the world. I talk to God every day. If God was the king, nobody be against me, sonny. That's the world.
I love old school Muhammad Ali, man. Oh, he's just so amped up. I love it. I just so love it, man. Oh God, Ace GEO, the greatest on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven, behind the brand. And truth be told, man, that song just spoke for itself, brother. It really did.
I mean,
So many good references.
when you think about the power and the confidence of Ali, you know what I mean? Like, think about that. Think about what it must have been like to just be around his energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anybody who was walking next to him instantly felt powerful.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's what it's about. That's what building a brand is about. You know what I mean? So when I went into building Northern League and building the licensing up from pitch number 1 to pitch number 1,000, whatever it is, it was always people that were standing next to us or people that were running with us instantly felt powerful. They instantly felt that, you know what, if they can do that, we can do that too. So that's what, anytime you've ever seen me come through the station and I'm with whoever, they're already confident. They're already ready. They're already to get into the ring. You know what I mean? And I mean, whether it's Manny and the NFL Visa commercial or Vega and, you know, Silicon Valley and Worst or Raps, you know, with Kevin from Work on ABC. I mean,
Raps,
there's always been something. Everyone's always had that confidence, like, I'm ready. And that
Let me be another one. Main Do.
Main Do.
Magazine.
You know what? Main Do and the magazine and the clothing line and you know, Main Do is those guys who just sleeps, who just flies underneath the radar. I got a statement from a song that we did with Main Do, and I was like, why is this song all over like Spotify and you know, it's just bubbling for some reason really quietly. And I'm like, we haven't even done anything with this song. But then I found out it popped up on Love and Hip Hop. I'm like, okay, great. That's all. You know, like, why am I getting this statement? I had to call him. I mean, like, and he like, wait, I got to check. And I'm like, that's what it's about at the end of the day. You know, so yeah, man. Just going back to Ali, man, that whole confidence, the greatest. So when that project came up, when Mo's the producer of that track, he's an amazing producer, Purple House. When he played that for me, and then I made the marriage with this other situation where it'll be featured in, it was like, yo, this is undeniable. This is dope, you know. So I recorded that, sent it back to him, and he was like, who are you? You know what I mean? Who are you?
Well, no, and honestly, like that track is ridiculous. I love words. I love lyrics, and the 70% 30% hits on so many different levels. And it resonates.
I like this guy.
And it really resonates. And you know, now for the broad listeners that we have we've been speaking a lot about you know, dealing with the licensing and stuff in hip hop and R&B and those different things but there is licensing for other types of music too. Because there's someone going, well, I don't do the hip hop music, so I don't know if it's good for me. Because that's all, again, we have that microwave attention span. So there are other avenues for other artists, right? And that'd be something that you'd be interested in dealing with. I'm totally asking for selfish reasons.
Absolutely. Like we discussed before the show. I mean, whether it's soul, whether it's rock, whether it's country. I've written country songs for Budweiser pitches. Yes, it's out there. You know what I mean? It's just you have to be engaged. You have to want to go out there and get it. So yeah, there's no cap. If you do music, you do like, I mean, listen to what I would tell someone, take your top 10 TV shows that you want to listen, that you like watching, and just all the cues in the background, listen to what's going on when they come back from commercial break. Spend some time watching MTV, VH1, or whatever else, and find out what's going on in the background of those shows. You know, all these reality TV shows, that's where all the music is, you know, so.
Ace, do you feel this pandemic has revealed the true leaders who really want to make it into their field?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely do. I think this pandemic has it's separated the men from the boys. We're this country right now, this world right now. Yeah. We're in a very emotional, troubled state right now. Yeah. So it's like, if you weren't prepared, then you're falling apart. And honestly, those people who are falling apart, we need to be there for them. You know, physically, emotionally, mentally, we need to be there for them, just to give them those words, just to help them. You know, this pandemic, and I think Preston, I think you and I talked about it briefly. You know, this pandemic is something that I went through personally. You know, it hit me hard. You know, I was sick for 2 months. You know, it took me a long time to bounce back to where I am right now. I mean, it took a toll on my thinking. It took a toll on my speaking. It took a toll on everything. Yeah. You know, so when people are out there saying, I don't know if it's real, I don't know if I should wear the mask, I don't know if I should do this, I don't, it's real. You know what I mean? Like everything you may have heard, I went through the hallucinations. I went through the crazy fever, that didn't, sleeping on the floor, sleeping on to try to get comfortable any possible way. Thankfully, thank God, I came out on the other side. But there's people that are falling by the wayside, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. Just on a side note, man, this disease is no joke. I was in Carolina recently, and it was a major hotspot over there. So thank God, I kept my distance, mask. At least I had like little 4 packs of sanitizer on my side. But thank God it came out okay. You know what I'm saying? And definitely just I recommend people out there listening right now get tested, because you never know who can be affected to this thing. I know people who are incredibly healthy. I'm talking about swole, 6-pack, everything. And this disease hit them down, just completely down. It's crazy, man. So people just need to protect themselves, man. So it's really crazy out there. But I'm happy you did mention that, because there's a lot of music concerts right now. People are not really caring. They're not really respecting these rules. And if you just want to, I can go on and on. I can only, we have so much time for this program.
Totally different topic. You know what I mean? So
yeah. No, and it's true. Like, you know, being a musician and like with me, I love playing live shows. I mean, you know, Prestige will tell you, I'm never more myself than when I have a mic in my hand and I get to jump around and act a fool and harass the crowd. You know, but it's not about me.
Right.
You know, it's not, and you know, it's about every single other person. You know, I've had to slow down. Oh, well, you know, at least I have the opportunity to slow down. Right. At least you have the ability to move forward. We will get to the other side of this, and thank goodness we're finally going to have some adults, you know, running the worldwide preschool. Finally going to have some adults in office that will be able to have good leadership to move forward. But you know what I have noticed from this whole thing is like you were saying, Ace, the real leaders have stepped up. You know, you have guys like Manny James who, you know, took this time and certified all his business, crossed every single T and every single I, and is moving forward, you know, in that way. Hold on, I'm getting the pause hand.
We only got about 2 minutes left of the program, unfortunately.
I figured.
But you know, Ace, just 2021. I love to have you back. You have a plethora of information inside that cranium that we can just share and just talk about just for days. Matter of fact, even a longevity of that, man.
Oh, he's coming. He's definitely coming back, because I'm gonna harass him from this point on. I'm gonna follow him like the puppy.
I just want you, because we gotta plug this other song, Justice, which is really good with Vega, Kodak, you know, and all that. But I want you to plug the magazine. I want you to plug, you know, just different platforms to reach you. And this time is yours, brother. Go right ahead.
Definitely check me out. I'm on Facebook. You know, you can hit me up on Instagram. I am HGO. Facebook, I am HGO. Twitter, same thing. I am HGO. Compulsive Magazine is one thing we didn't really get a chance to touch on. It's a wonderful lifestyles magazine. The actual owner of it is a blessed, beautiful woman, great friend of mine. Her name is, I call her Cookie. Her name is Cassandra Humphrey. You know, it's the magazine is going to, it's actually now in stores in Barnes & Noble nationwide, as well as Books A Million, if you're near Books A Million. We're on, I think, our 5th issue. I have a great section in that called For the Record, where I'm interviewing new artists, people who are, you know, businesses that are coming, talking about surviving the pandemic, you know, with different businesses that are around that are, you know, restaurants and so on and so forth. So,
hey, thank you once again. I'm getting that whole, you know, Apollo curtain or Apollo cane right now on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. It's been a great pleasure, man. Thank you.
Into the police brutality and mob attack that our people are confronted by every single day, every single week, every single month.
This used to be the land of opportunity. People used to strive for peace. We don't even use the word unity until them guns release. Young kids dropping out of school, thinking they know it all, don't even know the rules. Grown men want to kill themselves for a cause. Innocent people losing their lives in the cross. History repeating itself, what are we doing? The revolution will be televised, still brewing. CNN cameras, satellite coverage. We heading for destruction, don't forget your luggage. Marvin Gaye's vision, what's going on? Back in 71, it's being reborn. We need to wake up, people getting shot dead. Homie lost his life for doing what the police said.
I just wanna know if we gonna last. The glass is half full, the bottom's coming fast. I just wanna know where's all the justice? Blaming on the system, no we can't trust it. I just wanna know if we gonna last. The glass is half What happened to the youth? You really wanna know? We stopped teaching them the truth. Took the power from the parents, took religion out of school. I just watched the fire challenge. Who's raising these fools? Damn. Too many cubs, no lions. Too many broken hearts and families crying. Damn. Will we ever be free at last? The way we going, I don't know if we gon' even last. Martin Luther still having dreams. Listen closely, you can hear